30 Aquarius Grinder. Today we're talking to Zach Yunker. He's also a great painter, and he used to work with the Thunder. He also painted me this yellow picture in a dunk contest from 2019. Hope you enjoy it.
Hey.
Boom. There we go.
Bingo.
There we go.
What up, dog?
How's it going, man? Yeah, last time you saw me was like right before I moved. But it's kind of funny how it worked out because it was really stressful with like not getting jobs and stuff for a while. And I was kind of curious, like, man, I wonder when these jobs, like if these jobs will fully come back. But it's kind of funny because it was almost like the longer that like it went on, like the quarantine, people kind of had time to like sit around and budget and look at their finances. And then there's like, okay, there's nobody in the building right now. So if we were ever going to do an art project, like, and we've been talking about it, our finances are good, like, let's do it and stuff. And so then out of nowhere, it was like, I got one job and then I got like 20 jobs. And then like after that, I was having to like tell people like, hey, I might need a few weeks to like get to you, which was really good because I didn't think I was going to hit that again, at least this year.
Pandemic like this becomes an artist's worst nightmare. I mean, in any capacity, concerts shut down, showing shut down, the ability.
Yeah, any artist.
People thinking, okay, this is a priority, as you mentioned, it's pushed off to the back burner. And for no small purpose of why I was so excited to be able to just sit down, talk with you, and catch up. We are creators inherently.
Yeah, I think there's like essentials in the area of like, kind of like, I don't know, I guess this is probably the wrong way to describe it, but more of like a like black and white kind of essentials where it's like, these are the absolute essentials you need to like continue living, like on a day to day. And then there's like the essentials that are like, these are to help you like not go crazy, you know, like something to laugh at, like stand-up comedy or a funny movie or just like a interesting show or something like that. So, I mean, I definitely think that they're, and not saying one is better than the other, but I think that there is a need for both, for sure. It almost kind of like solidified the idea in my mind that like I always looked at like art as something that was like necessary. I remember I read this thing from Stan Lee one time, and he was talking about how he was like when he first started writing comic books, he was like, man, I had friends that were like doing construction and building bridges, and they were like becoming lawyers and doing this and that, and I was questioning like what I was doing. And then he realized once he like started making impact that like his ability to like change people's like mindset and to help them not go crazy is like, I mean, it's just like something in its own. So that like he realized that like what he was doing had value. And so I feel like that's like a point that every artist has to hit at some point, to where it's just like, you know, you have to know that your work has value with it, or else you're just you kind of get lost in the process.
Baylor, the one you did the painting for,
Yeah,
his birthday cake and his theme, Superman.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't know who Clark Kent is. Like he could not tell you a thing about.
No idea.
He doesn't want a cape. He doesn't care about the comics. He doesn't want to see a movie. He knows Diallo and Dwight Howard, and that is Superman to him. Like it's unbelievable. But so he's the one that's got that painting on his wall.
And it's funny because like I did that painting before I had ever even gotten to work with the Thunder, and now I'm getting to do some work with them,
dude,
fairly consistently.
I've not even thought about that. That's funny.
It's funny because it's like I obviously really enjoy the Thunder. Like I'm a huge fan. Like I feel like one of the biggest fans that you can be. But like for a while there, I didn't want to make Thunder art because I didn't want to come across as like a fanboy. The second I got asked, it was just like immediately like absolutely. And they're it's really cool the way that that's like progressed. Like just the story of like me being able to first get the opportunity, and like the way it started out with them being like, hey, this is exactly what we need. We need this, that, and that. And it's just like, okay, I'll do it. And the next project, like, here's what we need. And then as it kind of went on, it slowly became a thing of like, hey, we want to do this project. Like, do you have any ideas and stuff? And then they would slowly start asking me like what I thought. And then like, it was funny because literally I was at the game that the NBA got shut down at. I was gonna do the chalk wall again, I was gonna do another mural for them, and like that was like the first time that they were giving me like free reign to do whatever. They were like, "Hey, we want you to come do it, do whatever you want, just like make it Thunder themed." And I was like super excited for it because I was like, I finally get to show them what I feel like I can do. And then shut down. The NBA got shut down. I was like,
you were on the verge of having a blank canvas in the most literal of phrases. To
literally the next day I was gonna get to go up there. Like I was at the game, I think it was a Thursday, and they wanted me to come up there on Friday and do the drawing. And then that Thursday night I was leaving the game, and then like I got a text from one of the people that usually contacts me. He's like, "Hey, I'm sure you've probably seen what's going on. As you know, we won't need you to come up here anymore." And I was like, yeah, I kind of figured. But it's okay because I think the big thing is that like I just knew I was like, not only was I super appreciative of the whole opportunity in general, but I was like, I just want them to know like for sure like how appreciative I am. So I like messaged them during quarantine, and they were like sending like me messages, like making sure I was doing okay, which was really, really nice that they like even had the idea to check up on me.
Yeah. I want to and sort of go back with you through the progression and discussing kind of the idea of pursuing a career, a passion that is, as we're sort of alluding to, not the easiest of circumstances to be set in on a regular basis. You have to be able to roll with the punches like a lot of people can't. The reality, we've been talking about this since not the day we met. I mean, like for real. I was in there thinking, I wonder if there's any correlation that we were able to finally get together the day before the NBA restarted.
Oh, 100%. I remember having a conversation with one of the workers while I was there. I was painting, or I was doing the like the players' faces, and he like came by and he was talking to me for a little bit while I was doing it. And he was like, "Man, all love to Westbrook and everything, but like honestly, I love this team more." He's like, "I really do." And I was just like, I can't argue with you, man. I think I do too. And it's just funny how it worked. I mean, and it's really funny to me that like this year, if any, was like the first year that I got to start doing work with them. Because I remember like the first game I ever went to was when the Hornets were here. And that was with Chris Paul. I remember like I got his autograph and everything. Like I still have his autograph on a Hornets hat. Whenever they got sent off to Orlando, they wanted to do like a big like send off at the airport. And they're like, "Okay, well, are you available like tomorrow?" I'm not going to say no. And so they were like, "Okay, well, we have two walls. They're both like 16 feet by 8 feet. And we need both of them painted like tomorrow." And I'm like, okay, like, let's take a step back. At first, they said they were going to have a design for me. And so I wasn't going to have to worry about coming up with it. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I'll just go there and just paint it. I was painting The Last Supper at New Hope whenever they contacted me. And it was like, they contacted me at like the last second. It was like, "Hey, tomorrow when you come and paint, we're actually going to have you come up with the design." And I'm like, okay. And they're like, "We're going to have our art director or something call you here in just a little bit." And like, to be totally fair to them, I know that they were having like meet with every department. And like, I don't know how it works, but yeah. But I mean, it was cool because I ended up getting to talk with the art director more, and I never really talked with him. And then they're like, all right, we want you to do 2 graffiti walls, one that says "Bring the Thunder," and then one that says "OKC in Orlando" or "OKC in ORL." And then I painted both of them, and then like a week or so later, this guy that like works for the Oklahoman messaged me, and he did like a little segment. I've gotten to kind of get a taste for like both sides, as far as like I've been to that point where like being 100% real, like you just like you're struggling with money for sure, and you're like, I got to start making rent and stuff, like especially like after like quarantine, and then or just like even starting out in general, like when you want to go full time with this and you're like, I definitely don't have enough jobs to like make this a full-time gig, then all the way up to like being blessed to like get put on like KOCO5 whenever I did the Kobe mural, and then getting put in the Oklahoman and stuff, which are just like obviously things I will like forever be thankful for. And I know things you and I have talked about like for years of me wanting to get to that next level and me wanting to like have a bigger platform, not necessarily for myself, to use it like in a vessel type of way that like we always talked about. Because I remember that was like the thing I told you from the start, is that like even if I'm really struggling like personally, if I can put something out there that has a positive message, then I feel like that's like a way that I can like kind of give back. I'm actually about to go and paint a New Hope after this.
What's on the docket?
I'm doing the children's room.
Okay.
It'll be a fun one there.
How long did that last supper mural take?
Oh man, about like 2 weeks. Yeah, it was funny because like going into it, I was like, I remember I was talking to Cleet and I was like, yeah, this probably take me like 2 or 3 days, or like something like that. Because like my plan was I was gonna spray paint it. I very quickly figured out that the room was not going to like have any like filter or like anything like that. It was about 2 weeks because I hand painted the whole thing like with a brush, and I've had a few people tell me that they're gonna have you come by and pose with Jesus in the middle.
Yeah, so let's wind it back a little bit, because we met. Yeah, that was your junior year, senior year.
Senior year.
Your interests were everything. It was there was sports, there was video games, there was art, there was. You were really good at chess, if I remember correctly. Like you had varying degrees of abilities and things that you dabbled in. When did you know?
So about senior year of high school, because I mean, like the reason that I like went up to Cross and Crown, like with you and stuff, was because like me and a group of my friends like had gotten in trouble before that, and so with that, pretty much my life senior year was like I went to school, I went to basketball practice, and then like I would go home. All my walls were like completely empty. I remember asking my mom and my dad one day, I was like, hey, do you care if I draw on the walls? Like if I like paint on them? And they were like, no, I mean, like as long as it looks good, like as long as it's nothing weird. I remember there was this Nike design I thought was super cool. It was this character, and I drew him like right above my bed. It was like this little character with like lightning coming off of him. He was like multicolored, and like he looked like he was like paint dripping almost. And I put it like right over my bed. And I remember like it got to a point where like I would come home from basketball practice and I was like excited to work on it, because like it was just like this fun project I had going like in my house, and it was really comfortable because I mean, it was right in my room and I could take however long I wanted. And then it was like, hey, do you care if I paint something else? And then like I would paint something else, and then something else, and then I eventually went off to college, and I just kind of thought like, oh, that was that was fun, you know, like I got to paint my room, but still not something I saw turning into a career. It was just because like I wasn't playing basketball like for a team anymore. So I had all this time that I didn't know what to do with. And clearly I was not very good at doing my homework. So I found a million things that would distract me. Before I knew it, I was like, I kind of want to make a little project for myself and see how I do with it. And I actually have it right here. I like sat on my bed that year, and I just like freehanded all those characters. Both of my friends that I was rooming with, they were like, dude, like you should do something like with it. And I remember right after that canvas was when I actually started considering it. Cause like even beforehand, like all this stuff was just like, it was just fun for me. Like there was no stress, no pressure, no anything for it. Freshman year of college, that it was something I actually considered for a career. So my freshman year, I was a biology major, planning on going into physical therapy. So I always assumed in my life I was going to do something athletic. That was just like my assumption from when I was a kid. It was just like, yeah, whatever it is, as long as it's athletic. But then it was just like, man, I can't keep up with the schoolwork. It like genuinely just like drives me absolutely crazy. My second year, sophomore year, was graphic design. And then I did graphic design also for half of my junior year. And then I made the decision to leave.
So where's your mind at that point in time?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, definitely like my parents like were supportive. The main decision for me is that like I got a job to paint a restaurant in between. It was in between my sophomore year and my junior year. So it was like after I had a whole year in the arts. And then I was going into my junior year and I got a job to paint a restaurant. And then in between that, I had like a few other jobs to like do some logos and do things here and there just from like people I knew and like just word of mouth.
And that restaurant was like in Norman, wasn't it? Campus Corner or something?
Yeah, it was in Norman. That was like my first job, like as an artist. And it was after that, the thought was on the thought was on my mind like all the time. It was like that guy didn't ask like if I had a degree. He didn't ask for like proof, like of a certification that like I could do this. It was just like, let me see your work. And then like every job I got in between then and in between when I decided to drop out, every single person always said like, what does your portfolio look like? Like, show me your work. I mean, obviously, I just grew up loving street art, like in murals and all this stuff like that. Like, it made an impact on me, like whenever I drove by, or like even if it was something for like 2 seconds that caught my attention, that like either made me laugh or it made me smile, or it like challenged my way of thinking for a little bit. I was like, that's really intriguing. I like that. It like brings color and like energy and life to an area. And then like around that time, I like really wanted to be a mural artist myself, and I wasn't really sure what like a living in that area would look like. And I was able to talk to a few people that were kind of doing it, and they were able to give me a little insight. And so I was like, okay, this is a legit thing. Like, you can totally do this. I just have to prove that like I can do the work. And so then whenever I went home after dropping out, I worked at a place called Triad. I needed something to like help me get some revenue. And then I would spend like almost all my check on going to get spray paint. And I would go out in the back at my parents' house, and I like built myself a fence that I could spray paint on. And then I started doing things on that, and it was just like all the practice. It was like every single day. And I got like 3 pieces of plywood, and I like put them all together. And then I had an even bigger canvas. I would start painting on that. And basically it was just like I would paint it, take a picture of it, and I would post it, and then I would see if anything would happen. One day while I was working at Triad, this lady that owned this gym called Powerhouse, she wanted me to paint a mural for her. And it was like the first like spray painted mural I had ever done. And so I went there and I did that. I was super nervous and stuff. And then I finished that one up. I was really happy with it. And then pretty much after that, it was like, I think people kind of saw that it was like, it wasn't me just painting in my backyard. It was like, hey, like I'm trying to do something with this. More people would start hitting me up, and then like other people that knew her would be like, hey, I have this friend that has this business and they're looking for this work to be done or something like that. And I mean, it's honestly been like entirely word of mouth. Just like stuff like that is like, my name is starting to become, at least I think so, a little bit more well known in this area. Which definitely makes it more maintainable and feels more legit to me.
You do the quality work, game recognized game type of thinking.
Yeah.
People see it.
I always trusted and I always knew that like it was gonna work. You know, like I was gonna make it work. Or maybe not just me solely, but like that I was going to be shown the right path to get these opportunities. And it definitely was a lot of like me being placed in certain areas and me just kind of being like, okay, I trust. I think it was around the time of senior year when we first started talking. We started kind of having meetings every once in a while. And it was a lot of me like searching for answers and like just trying to figure it out. I remember we had a conversation one day that like really changed my perspective on it. And I think it was over at Ron's, the burger place.
Delicious.
And great burgers, by the way. And I remember you like kind of challenged me to like stop searching for answers as much, because I mean, like we'll always be trying to get answers, but to start kind of like in a way like asking for like put me in the right position, like placement almost, like put me in the right position to where I can be the most effective and to where you can use the abilities that you gave me in the first place, just to better like glorify you and everything. And I remember I started doing that. The way that I got to the Thunder was so funny with like, I remember there was a state fair mural competition. It was basically like this thing that they had online. They were like, hey, here's like a thing that you can fill out, and you would like send in your work that you've done, and then they were choosing 20 artists to do it. They're like, we're having a mural competition, anybody can enter, but we're only accepting 20 artists. I ended up getting selected, and whenever I went there, was not only how I met the owner of the Plaza District, who was the guy that let me do the Kobe mural, which ended up getting me on KOC05, but was also how I met the girl that worked for the Thunder already. And that one was funny because it was like she worked for the Thunder. Well, she didn't like work for the Thunder, but she had done the stuff that I was doing for them. And like we had met there, and then like right before the NBA season, I painted something that was like all basketball oriented, because I was like really hyped for the season to start. And it was like right when the Thunder were looking for other artists. So like she was on Instagram and basically like saw my post that I did about the NBA and was like, oh, like they were asking me to be on the lookout for other artists. Here's this artist I just met. He just posted something about the NBA, so he's clearly an NBA fan. She messages me and was like, hey, the Thunder are looking for like other people for this and that. And I'm like, absolutely. Like, yes. So, like I said, I mean, we've had this conversation many times. Definitely is not ironic in any way. I mean, like, it's definitely a more of a like divine plan that like I just have zero understanding of.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you. And tell family, hey, I guess live with sister now. Tell her hi for me.
All righty.
But we'll catch you sometime soon. So be good.
Sounds good. I'll see you, man.
thanks for my painting. See you next time on the episode 14 of Voice Corner. Bye.